I met my soulmate while waiting for my uncle to die. Unfortunately, he met his soulmate too. The hospice smelled of lavender disinfectant and despair. It was a specific kind of quiet, the sound of muted televisions, rubber-soled shoes on linoleum, and the heavy, rhythmic mechanical breathing of people who were taking their sweet time leaving the earth. Ben stood in the hallway bathroom. He was 28. He was wearing a gray hoodie that he had slept in for 2 nights. He looked into the mirror. He looked exhausted. He looked sad. "You are devastated," he whispered to his reflection. "You are heartbroken." Uncle Jerry was a father figure. He tried to squeeze out a tear. Nothing happened. He just looked dehydrated. He checked his banking app. Balance, $84.32. "Cry, damn it," he hissed. He splashed cold water on his face to simulate grief, or at least hygiene. He took a deep breath, adjusted his face into a mask of solemn concern, and walked out of the bathroom. He walked down the corridor to room 304. Uncle Jerry was in bed A. Jerry was 72. He owned a chain of car washes called Jerry's Scrub-A-Dub. He had never remembered Ben's birthday. He had once called Ben Brian for 3 consecutive Christmases. But Jerry had no children. He had no wife. He had liquid assets in the mid-6 figures and a diversified portfolio. Jerry was currently in a coma. The doctor said it was a matter of days. That was 4 days ago. Ben walked into the room. He dragged the uncomfortable vinyl chair to the bedside. He took Jerry's hand. It felt like a dried leaf. "Hey, Uncle Jerry," Ben said softly. "It's Ben. I'm here. You can let go now. It's okay. The light is beautiful. Go toward it." Beep, beep, beep. The monitor remained stubbornly steady. Ben sighed. He let go of the hand and pulled out his phone. He opened Zillow. He looked at a 1-bedroom condo with a washer/dryer in unit. It cost $350,000. "Come on, Jerry," Ben whispered. "I need indoor laundry." The curtains separating bed A from bed B rustled. Ben froze. He quickly shoved his phone into his pocket and grabbed Jerry's hand again, bowing his head in prayer. "Amen," he said loudly. A head popped around the curtain. It was a woman. She was about Ben's age. She had dark circles under her eyes that matched her black turtleneck. She was holding a laptop. "You know he can't hear you, right?" she said. Ben looked up. "Excuse me. The hearing is the last thing to go," she said, stepping fully around the curtain. "But I'm pretty sure the guy in bed had checked out mentally in 1995. You don't have to perform." This was Chloe. Chloe sat down in the chair next to bed B. Occupying bed B was an elderly woman who looked like she was surviving purely out of spite. This was Aunt May. "I'm not performing," Ben lied. "I love my uncle." "Right," Chloe said. She opened her laptop. "Is that why you were checking Zillow 5 seconds ago?" "I saw the reflection in the window." Ben felt his face get hot. "I was checking hospice reviews." "Nice try," Chloe said. She didn't smile. She started typing furiously. "I'm Chloe. The woman trying to refuse death over here is my Aunt May. She's a landlord. She owns 3 brownstones. She hates me." "I'm Ben," he said. "Uncle Jerry. Car washes. He thinks my name is Brian." "Nice to meet you, Brian," Chloe said. She reached into her oversized tote bag and pulled out a vase of fresh tulips. "Where did you get those?" Ben asked. "The nurse's station," Chloe said casually. They were sitting on the counter. Nobody was looking. "May likes flowers. It helps the optics." She placed the stolen flowers on Aunt May's bedside table. She arranged them artfully. Then she leaned in close to her unconscious aunt's ear. "I brought you flowers, Auntie," she said, her voice suddenly trembling with manufactured emotion. "Your favorites. I'm staying right here. I'm not going anywhere." She stood up and looked at Ben. Her face went back to deadpan instantly. "See," she whispered. "That's how you do it. Amateur." Ben stared at her. She was terrifying. She was brilliant. "So," Ben said, leaning back, "we're just waiting." "I have a credit card bill due on the 15th, Chloe said, sitting back down and returning to her typing. "And May has a do not resuscitate order that she signed in 2012. I am waiting for nature to take its course so I can pay off my student loans and maybe buy a cheese grater that isn't rusty. Don't judge me." "I have $84, Ben admitted, "and rent is due on Tuesday." Chloe stopped typing. She looked at him. A flash of solidarity crossed her face. "84?" she asked. "84. Okay," she said. "You're not a vulture. You're a survivor. Welcome to the club. For the next 3 hours, they sat in silence. The only sounds were the beep-beep-beep of the monitors and the aggressive clicking of Chloe's keyboard. Around 6 p.m., a doctor walked in. Dr. Evans. He looked tired. He checked Jerry's chart. He checked May's chart. Any changes? Ben asked, putting on his sad face. They are stable, Dr. Evans said, but weak. It shouldn't be long now. Oh, Chloe said, putting a hand over her mouth. That's so hard to hear. Be strong, Dr. Evans said. He patted Chloe's shoulder. You're a good niece. He left. Chloe dropped the hand. Stable, she muttered. Unbelievable. They are stubborn as mules. Maybe we should get food, Ben said. I can't listen to the beeping anymore. Cafeteria, Chloe said. I know how to steal the Jell-O cups. The hospital cafeteria was a fluorescent purgatory. The light hummed. The floor was sticky. Ben and Chloe sat at a wobbly table in the corner. Ben had a black coffee. Chloe had a black coffee and 2 red Jell-O cups she had slipped into her sleeve. So, Chloe said, sliding a Jell-O cup across the table to him. Car washes. 6 locations, Ben said. He opened the Jell-O. It jiggled ominously. He built the empire on upselling the wax coat. He's a legend in the tri-state area. And you're the sole heir? I'm the only nephew. He never married. He has a sister in Florida, who he hasn't spoken to since the Bush administration. It's me or the state. Same with May, Chloe said. She managed to alienate every human being she ever met. My mom won't even step foot in the hospital. She said, call me when she's dead. So here I am. What do you do? Ben asked. When you're not waiting for inheritances. I have a master's in art history, Chloe said flatly. So, naturally, I work as a barista and I freelance graphic design for people who don't want to pay me. I have $60,000 in debt and a degree that qualifies me to give tours at a museum that isn't hiring. Ouch, Ben said. Marketing, Ben said. I got laid off 3 months ago. The startup pivoted to AI. Apparently, an algorithm can write mediocre ad copy faster than I can. They ate their stolen Jell-O in silence. It tasted like chemicals and red dye number 40. I feel like a monster, Ben said suddenly. I'm sitting here eating Jell-O, wishing my uncle would die so I can pay my rent. Who does that? People who are drowning, Chloe said. Her voice was sharp. Look, Ben, we didn't put them in those beds. We aren't pulling the plug. We are just catching the ball. It's capitalism. We are the cleanup crew. She leaned forward. Don't feel guilty, she said. Jerry lived his life. May lived hers. They had houses. They had pensions. They had cheap gas and affordable college. We have gig work and anxiety. You are entitled to the car wash money. Ben looked at her. She looked fierce. She looked tired. She looked beautiful in the harsh cafeteria light. You're really good at rationalizing this, Ben said. It's a survival skill, she said. They walked back up to the room together. The elevator ride was quiet. They stood close to each other. Ben could smell her perfume, something vanilla and sandalwood, mixed with the hospital bleach. They walked into room 304. The beeping was different. Faster. Jerry, Ben asked, rushing to the bed. May, Chloe asked, rushing to hers. Uncle Jerry's eyes were open. Aunt May's eyes were open. They were looking at each other across the gap between the beds. Who are you? Jerry rasped. His voice sounded like a bag of gravel. I'm May, the old woman croaked. Stop breathing so loud. I'll breathe how I want, Jerry snapped. You're in my light. Ben and Chloe looked at each other. Panic. Absolute panic. Uncle Jerry, Ben said. You're awake. Jerry looked at Ben. Who the hell are you? It's Ben, your nephew. Brian, Jerry asked. Sure, Ben said. Brian. It wasn't just a moment of clarity. It was a rally. Over the next 3 days, Jerry and May didn't die. They got stronger. And the catalyst was hate. Or maybe it was lust. It was hard to tell. They spent 24 hours a day bickering. They argued about the temperature. They argued about the news. They argued about which nurse was the incompetent one. It gave them energy. The sheer force of their mutual annoyance was jump-starting their systems. Ben and Chloe sat in the chairs, watching in horror. "This is a disaster," Chloe whispered on day 3. "May ate solid food today. She ate a turkey sandwich. She hasn't eaten in a week." "Jerry sat up," Ben whispered back. "He asked for the Wall Street Journal. He's checking stocks, Chloe. He's planning for the future." They were in the hallway now, pacing. "They're feeding off each other," Chloe said. "It's like a symbiotic relationship of spite. We have to separate them." "We can't," Ben said. "The room is semi-private. We can't afford a private room." "We have to do something," Chloe said. "My landlord texted me. If I don't pay by Friday, I'm out." "My bank account is at $12, Ben said. "I bought a coffee." Suddenly, laughter erupted from room 304. Ben and Chloe froze. Laughter. They crept to the door and peered in. Jerry and May were holding hands? No, Jerry was showing May something on his iPad. "Look at that yield," Jerry chuckled. "Tax-free municipals." "You old goat," May cackled. "That's smart. I keep my money in real estate. Brick and mortar. Tenants are rats, but the equity is real." "Tenants are rats," Jerry agreed. "I have a nephew. Useless. Just waiting for a handout." "I have a niece," May sneered. "She thinks I don't see her staring at my jewelry. Little vulture." Ben and Chloe recoiled from the door. "They're bonding," Ben whispered, "over how much they hate us." "This is the worst-case scenario," Chloe said. "They're falling in love." Friday morning, the day of reckoning. Dr. Evans called Ben and Chloe into the hallway. He was beaming. "It's a miracle," Dr. Evans said. "I've never seen anything like it. Their vitals are stabilizing. The will to live is a powerful drug." "So they're going to make it?" Ben asked. His voice cracked. "They're being discharged tomorrow," Dr. Evans said. "They're leaving together." Ben felt the floor tilt. "Together. They're checking into the Golden Horizons Rehab Center," the doctor said. "Couple suite." Ben and Chloe walked back into the room like they were walking to the gallows. Jerry was sitting up, wearing a robe. May was in a wheelchair, applying lipstick. "Brian," Jerry barked. "Get my bag." "It's Ben," Ben said automatically. He picked up the bag. "Listen up," Jerry said. "May and I have been talking. Life is short. We almost missed the boat." "We realized we have a lot in common," May said, looking at Jerry with something that might have been affection, or maybe just shared greed. "We both like money. We both hate moochers. And we both have a lot of living left to do." "We're getting married," Jerry announced. Chloe dropped her laptop bag. "Crash." "Married," she squeaked. "In Vegas," Jerry said. "Then we're taking a cruise. A world cruise. The Golden Years package. It costs $40,000 a person." "We're selling the brownstones," May said, looking at Chloe. "The market is high. I'm cashing out." "And I'm selling the washes," Jerry said. "Private equity made me an offer last year. I'm taking it." "But," Ben stammered, "the inheritance, the legacy." Jerry laughed. It was a cruel, barking sound. "Legacy," Jerry said. "My legacy is my tan. We're going to spend every dime, kid. If there's anything left when we kick the bucket, it's going to the cat shelter." "I hate cats," May noted. "We'll buy a cat," Jerry said, "just to spite them." They laughed. They held hands, two wrinkled, selfish, miraculously alive hands gripping each other tight. "Now get out," May said. "We have a travel agent coming in 10 minutes. Ben and Chloe stood on the sidewalk outside the hospital. It was raining. Of course it was raining. They had been kicked out. They were disinherited. They were broke. Ben looked at his phone. Balance, $12.40. Chloe looked at the wet pavement. She looked shell-shocked. "They're going on a world cruise," she whispered. "My down payment is going to Antarctica." "My washer-dryer is going to the cat shelter," Ben said. They stood there for a long time. The cars rushed by, splashing water onto the sidewalk. Ben looked at Chloe. Her mascara was running slightly. She looked furious and devastated and somehow still sharp. I have $12, Ben said. Chloe looked at him. I have a Metro card with one ride left. We could split a sandwich, Ben said. There's a deli across the street. I hate them, Chloe said. I hate them so much. Me too, Ben said. But, Chloe sighed. She wiped her eyes. I guess they found their soulmate. Yeah, Ben said. He looked at her. Must be nice. Finding someone just as twisted as you are in a hopeless place. Chloe looked back at him. She paused. She saw the gray hoodie. She saw the exhaustion. She saw the guy who had sat with her for 5 days, stealing Jell-O and sharing the silence. Yeah, she said softly. Must be nice. She reached out. She took his hand. Her hand was cold, but her grip was firm. Turkey Club, she asked. Turkey Club, Ben agreed. They started walking toward the deli, hand in hand, leaning into each other against the rain. So, Ben said, what's the plan now? Well, Chloe said, we have $0, no inheritance, and a lot of free time. I'm good at spreadsheets, Ben offered. I can design a killer logo, Chloe said. Maybe we start a business, Ben said. Something profitable. Elder care, Chloe suggested darkly. Ben laughed. Too soon. Way too soon. They crossed the street. They were broke. They were tired. They were the losers of the story. But as they walked into the deli, the little bell above the door chimed. Ding. It sounded like a beginning.